Here are the new metal releases for August 8th, 2025. This week we've got 5 full-length albums and 1 EP covering a wide range of genres, everything from hard rock to black metal with some doom and traditional heavy metal in the mix. The first 2 releases are actually among my most anticipated of the year, so let's jump right in. First album is from Halestorm. It's called Everest. This is the band's 6th album. It's probably one of their darkest and most personal albums that they've ever released. As for the music, it's mostly what you would expect. I've always thought of Halestorm as a classic rock band with modern touches. Lead singer Lizzie Hale is like a cross between Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, and the singer for Paramore. Let's talk about some of the songs. The album kicks off with a bang with song Falling Star. It has some guitar riffs that are bordering thrash metal, and one of the more angrier songs on the album. They follow this up with Everest. This one's a little more atmospheric and moodier. It has uplifting lyrics about climbing Mount Everest, but I'm pretty sure they're using that as a metaphor for overcoming adversity. After this is the song Shiver. This one has some more classic rock vibes. It's a little more laid back with some more emotional vocals and piano playing. Then there is Like a Woman Can, which is another softer song with emotional vocals and haunting piano playing. Then by the middle of the album is the song Rain Your Blood on Me, where they bring back some of those heavier guitar riffs that we heard in the first song, followed by a couple more atmospheric songs. Then further down the album is a pretty cool song called Watch Out, with a title in all caps, and it's very heavy and angry, and I thought it was a standout. Another very heavy song called Killing. It's fast, it's angry with aggressive riffs, and they end the album with 2 softer songs called I Gave You Everything, and the last one's called How Will You Remember Me. Both are ballads. Overall, I thought it's a very strong album. I think this band has a pretty strong discography, and I think it's worthy of an 8 out of 10. There's a mix of heavy songs and more emotional, darker songs, so the album has a nice balance. Next I have Blackbraid III by Blackbraid. This is one of the few black metal bands I really like a lot. I've been following him since their last album. I say him, it's a one-man band. He's a Native American, and this is the 3rd album. I reviewed their 2nd one from 2023. There's a lot of buzz about this artist. I remember he was featured in a New York Times article with the last album. With that being said, it's atmospheric black metal, all about Native American mythology and paganism. It's very well done, very atmospheric, very dense. It's going to be hard for me to talk about everything in the short review, but let me talk about some of the songs. The album basically consists of short instrumental passages that are very atmospheric and some longer pieces that are closer to traditional black metal. So the songs can either be 1 minute long or up to 10 minutes. The album opens with a 1-minute instrumental called Dusk Eulogy and goes into the first main track called War Drums at Dawn on the Day of My Death, which is some traditional black metal, but it's very well done. The vocals are harsh. You can understand what he's saying if you listen closely. It's very aggressive, yet there's also some melody, and the tempo changes keep you interested in what's going on. Followed by The Dying Breath of a Sacred Stag. It's one of the longer tracks. It starts off with some acoustic guitars, then slowly builds with more traditional black metal elements. Thing I like about the song is there is a lot going on. There are guitar solos, lots of different guitar riffs. Song goes through many different emotions. There are parts when he just lets loose with the riffs and blast beats, and other parts and he just takes back with a step and brings in more melody. So each song takes you on a journey. As for the rest of the album, pretty much continues the same format. Some songs that are soft instrumentals, others where there are longer tracks that incorporate many different ideas. I can't talk about all of them. I remember my last review was like 15 minutes long because the music is so dense and there's so much to talk about, but I want to end it here, and I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10. It's a really good black metal album, and I'm picky with this genre. It has to be really good for me to even give it a chance. So that's all for now. Let me move on. I have an EP. It's from Crypt. It's called Saturnian Appendices. Crypt is an epic doom metal band from the United States. They released a full-length album last year. It was very good. This EP has 4 songs, with one of them being a cover. The opening track is called Ash and Dust. Right away, you hear a very big sound. Starts off with slow and atmospheric, and then gets heavy after the first minute, lots of big and powerful guitar riffs. The song features lots of melody and big and epic vocals. I think a good comparison would be Candlemass. Next song is called A Fool to Believe. Has some riffs reminding me of classic Black Sabbath. It has a very dark tone, lots of eerie vibes. The song has some evil sounding vocals and chugging guitars. Then the third song is called Lacrimose, and it begins with haunting piano, but right away they play slow melodic guitar riffs. One of those songs that picks up the pace with some faster rhythms, so the band may be doom, but it's not always super slow. Last track is a Mayhem cover called De Mysterious Doom Satanas. It's a cover of a black metal song. To be honest, I've never heard the original. I'm not really sure how it compares to the original, but it sounded more like doom metal. So I guess they adapted it to their sound. The first half of the song is slow, dark, and haunting, but then they pick up the pace in the second half. But they still make it sound like it's from them. It doesn't really sound like they're trying to make it sound like black metal. But overall, pretty decent EP. I think it's a good sample of what the band is about and can tide you over until they release their next full length. My score is an 8 out of 10. Good EP to check out if you're new to the band and want to see what they're all about. The band Lord of the Lost. The album is called Opvs Noir Volume 1. This is one of those bands I had known about for years. I know they have been releasing albums consistently since their first one in 2010. I think it's their fourth album they released since I started doing album reviews. Every time they put out an album, I usually forget to review it. So this is the first time I've ever given the band a listen, or at least I think it is. It's a German gothic and industrial band. I found their sound to be slightly reminiscent of Rammstein, but more on the gothic rock side. The album has 11 tracks, 44 minutes long. The album opens with a track called Bizarre Bizarre. Starts off heavy, but then shifts into creepy synth music. The song's a mix of heavy synth and distorted guitars, but also includes melody and hooks. Followed by the song My Sanctuary, which is a little softer at first. Then it develops into a more of a gothic rock song with an almost pop song beat. Next track, Light Can Only Shine in the Darkness, is a collaboration with a symphonic metal band Within Temptation. It's a duet with male and female vocals. There are a few more collaborations, probably about half the songs are collaborations, similar to that Baby Metal album that just came out. Most of their other bands involved I was unfamiliar with. Then there's I Will Die in It. It has some heavier guitar riffs and atmospheric verse sections. I noticed this band tends to mix clean and heavy sections in their songs. I also noticed the songs are often structured like pop songs, with many of them having catchy hooks. The rest of the album follows a similar style. Some songs are more theatrical with orchestral elements, while others sound more electronic and industrial. Some tracks get heavier. For example, track number 8, Lords of Fire, goes full death metal with harsh vocals and all that. Other songs like track number 7, Ghosts, sound like something you would hear in a Tim Burton film. I think the band has potential. I wasn't completely convinced, but that's only after a few listens. I generally gravitate towards this type of music, so maybe with time my opinion will improve. For now, I'll give it 7 out of 10, which is a decent score, but there's a little bit of cheesiness in this music. The next band is called Firstborne, and the album is called Lucky. They are an American band. They play traditional heavy metal, maybe hard rock. It kind of reminded me of 80s glam metal. I'll get to that in a minute. But it's also some type of supergroup. The band features James Lomenzo on bass. He's been with many different bands, most notably Megadeth, as well as White Lion. So he does have some experience playing this type of music. Next person, Chris Adler, is the drummer. He's from Lamb of God. A very different type of band than what he's used to playing if you look at his past work. Still, it's understandable. Maybe he likes this type of music. The only person I didn't recognize was the guitarist, whose name is Myron. He's done collaborations with other bands and mostly just played with this band. Vocalist is Girish Pradhan, an Indian singer I am familiar with. He played with the End Machine, which is one of those Dokken spin-off bands. His main band is called Girish and the Chronicles. He's a very powerful vocalist with an almost Ronnie James Dio type of style. This album, Lucky, is their second album. I thought it was pretty decent. Let's talk about some of the songs. Opening track is called Again. A very energetic song. Lots of big vocals and guitars. Next song, Rescue Me, is a little more bluesy, laid back. Sounds like something you would hear on a Mr. Big album or something like that. Then there's more of that blues rock with the next track, Shine. It's a little slower, a little dirtier, that type of song. Then there's a song, Wake Up. Has some very big guitars, probably one of the heavier ones. This is where you hear Chris Adler really going off on the drum. So it might be the heaviest song in the album. Next song is called Normandy. It sounds like some mid-80s hair metal. Something along the lines of Dokken. I could hear that in the guitar tone. Next one, Only a Fool. Has some classic 80s blues rock style guitar riffs. I thought it was a good song. If you like 80s hair metal, if you would like this. And then there's Heaven's Return. This one's a little more laid back. It's more of a dark and atmospheric power ballad. Next song, Human Interrupted. They bring back a little bit of that heavy sound again. You hear Chris Adler going off on the drums again on this one. Prometheus has more of that bluesy rock sound. And the last track, Minefields, has some punk rock energy. So there's a lot of variety in the album. I like it a lot. Probably the type of album, not for everybody. But I think for me, it's one of my favorites of the week. I give this 8.5 out of 10. Again, if you're a fan of 80s metal, I think you can get into this. I have another band. This is the only one on the list I wasn't familiar with. The name of the band is Temtris, and the album is called Queen of Crows. The band is from Australia. They play traditional heavy metal. They've been putting out albums since 2003. This is their 8th. It's a female-fronted band, which has an influence on their sound. The album has 9 songs, runs 46 minutes. Opening track is called Evil Lies. Very energetic, probably closer to speed metal, but also very melodic. They followed up with Scars of Betrayal, which maintains the same level of energy as the previous track and features lots of big soaring vocals. The next one, The Risk, continues in the same vein as the first two. Another very melodic yet heavy track with powerful drumming. Narcosis follows with plenty of blistering guitar work and a bit more melody. Then comes Murder of Crows, which is really heavy and goes back to that speed metal territory. Next track, Dying to Believe, is also very heavy with galloping guitar rhythms and heavily distorted riffs. The album takes a slight turn on track number 7, Carnival of Tears. This one leans more towards the melodic side and still maintains the overall style heard throughout the record. After that, No One Is Listening delivers another melodic track with big crunchy guitar riffs. The album ends with a power ballad that starts slow but gradually picks up the pace. It features big vocals and is an overall decent closing track. Overall, I thought it was okay. The production isn't the best, but the album still has decent sound quality. I'd say it's solid traditional heavy metal. I wasn't completely blown away, but it's an enjoyable listen. My score is 7 out of 10. I think it's a pretty decent band if you like traditional heavy That's metal. Going to wrap up this week's episode of New Metal Releases. If you missed last week's episode, where I covered all the new metal releases of August 1st, 2025, you can check it out right here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any future reviews. As always, let me know in the comments which of these albums you've heard and what you thought of them. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.